Good morning, day 104. Oh man, I am amped up this morning. Might just be because I had 2.5 cups of coffee, but I think it's more because I got such good rest last night. This Around the Bend hostel, this place is nice. Uh, it's really well done, and the couple that runs it are tops. I mean, they're just good people, and but they have all this massage equipment. So I had one of those rollers, and I was rolling my shin and top of my foot, my ankle, everything last night because it was kind of in bad shape. I was really worried about it yesterday. A lot of swelling down there, big huge knot. So I think the tendon right there at the bottom of my shin was getting really knotted up. But so I started pounding. I'm not really pounding Motrin, but or Advil, but for one thing, I didn't have much before, but there's a there's a retired nurse staying at that hostel, and so he actually kind of looked at my ankle and gave me a bunch of advice. I try not to take too much Motrin or Advil, ibuprofen, because it's kind of rough on the stomach. So I just don't like to take it if I don't need to, but I need to. So I'm taking a regular every 8 hours basically routine of Motrin. And since I was in the hostel, it was a little bit easier to manage, I guess. I was eating better because you can get decent food, so I can take the ibuprofen on a fuller stomach. Probably a lot of people know this, but some people don't. So I'm just trying to help out whoever, if anybody watches this and they have a similar issue. If you stack up that Motrin, it will eventually really decrease the inflammation anywhere in your body if you're doing it regularly like that, hitting it every 6 to 8 hours. And so I just feel so much better this morning. I was struggling the past few days with my shin. And who knows, maybe in 3 or 4 hours, I'll be right back in the same boat after I pound away on my legs for the next 6 to 8 hours. But I'm gonna go back there tonight for several reasons. One is, it's not that expensive, and you're just getting so much for your money. Rest, some of the best rest, super comfortable. So, and I'll eat well there. I got a few days left, and I want to finish strong. And I was honestly getting worried, like this thing could get really bad, and it would absolutely suck to sideline myself just a few days away. I'll flip you around here. So anyways, I have one big climb right here in the beginning of the day. It's pretty steep and pretty steady up. I'm way down at 1,500 feet. And I don't know, I go up to 45 or 5,000 on one of these peaks. And then it just kind of levels out and a little bit downhill in this place called Unicoi Gap. And it's only 17 miles from me today, actually just shy of it. And that was one reason why I didn't want to come back to this hostel, because I'd rather do like 20, maybe even a little more than 20, and make the next Wednesday and Thursday hikes a little bit easier. But on one of these days, I was gonna have to take, well, not have to, but I'd have the opportunity to take lower mileage. I want to only have to do 12 on Friday just to make it a really easy day. Shauna and Olivia are going to meet me a mile south of the summit of Springer. So I'd like to get up around like 7 is what I'm hoping, and have like 10 to 12 miles to hike and meet them. So before noon would be ideal. I don't know if I can work it out this way or not. Right now I need to do about 17 miles per day every day to summit on Friday and be done. But 17 would take me on Friday into the afternoon, and then we got to hit the road and head back north to get my truck, and then we're going to Richmond to see Haley, my other daughter, play some soccer. So really exciting week. easy day for me today, kind of. I'm hoping I zip up this mountain, make really good time, get into the hostel this afternoon, get plenty of rest for tomorrow, do kind of a big day tomorrow, not real big, like 21, 22, but bigger than today. And then probably the same thing on Thursday, and it'll just be a 10 to 12 mile hike on Friday to finish this whole thing up. I honestly, it's surreal to me that I'm saying that, but that's what lays ahead. It's just a few days away. Everybody that passes me, a lot of people will look for my hiker tag, and you know, they're congratulating me right now. It's really touching, I guess, and inspiring. It just makes you want to burst into a sprint and keep, you know, finish the whole thing. It makes you feel really good. And I can remember in Maine, all the Nobos I was passing, and for the first week or 2 weeks that I was hiking, I was congratulating them because they were really, hell, maybe the first 3 weeks, and maybe it was a little premature sometimes, but it's neat to be in that position now where people are congratulating me, and I'm still days away from finishing. All right, it's gonna be a beautiful day. I'm gonna try to zip along, so hopefully I take less talking, more walking, less shooting photos, more walking, and finished early today to get plenty of rest. All right, my first look at some wild boar. They're running away over there. You probably can't see them. There's 3 of them. This is the first time I've seen these guys. It's wild. They just crossed the path up there. Oh man, I was hoping they would stall out right there. Anyways, I just startled 3 of them. And at first I thought they were bear. And well, they circled all the way around me. They're up behind this hill now. I can hear them. It would be hilarious if they came back this way. Well, maybe not hilarious. Some people say they're more dangerous than bear. But they seem to be running from me, so I'm not too worried about them. I don't think they'll charge me or anything. That was kind of cool. All right, since I got the camera out, I'm a new man today. I'll tell you what, it's like I got a new shin. Well, it's still just barely sensitive, but so there's a teeny tiny bit of pain left, but I had no idea how much pain I was in until today, and or how slow I was going over the past probably 4 days. I've really been hurting the past 4 days. It's every single step on my left foot has been painful, and it's like having a sore throat. Like every time you're about to swallow, you just know that the pain is coming. So especially in rocky, rooty areas and almost all downhills, I've been, you know, just sort of as tenderly as I can placing my foot, and I know people are going to be like, Terry, you have to rest, all this other stuff. Well, it's all my fault, but it's also circumstance. I know my secret to keeping myself going through this entire trail has been ice. I always ice in hostels. I even ice when I don't need it. Like, people have seen me icing my feet and they're like, are you injured? And I'm like, no, I just, you know, I want to ice my feet because they're swelling after a day of pounding on them for 2 hours. And Haley knows this. I swear by ice. But you can't ice when you're at a tent site or a shelter, and sometimes you're at certain hostels where they just don't really have it. I guess you could, you know, I don't know. It's just difficult sometimes. Most hostels have something. They have the big, like, thermos blocks and those actually aren't very good. Ice is pretty good. The best, and what I had last night, was these Coleman flexible, and I'm sure there's other people that make them, but the flexible like gel packs that conform to the curvature of, you know, whatever you're trying to ice. A lot of times with like the blocks and things like that, you just can't get it. You get it a little bit there, but it's not as good. Anyways, man, last night I maxed out the rice acronym. I got good rest. I'm gonna flip you around. Okay, the sun was messing me up there for a few seconds. Probably gonna catch me again up here. Anyways, if you imagine that that's my foot on the, you know, outside of my arm, right where in the crook there, and just a little ways up my arm, if you imagine that's my leg, that's where all my pain is, right there in the shin and just above the ankle on the outside. And so that tendon, I'll say this now, I wasn't gonna say it before because I know my mom gets all worried and a few other people too, but not my wife, because she doesn't worry about these things. But she worries about it, all the things that she knows me. She knows when to really worry. Oh, there it is, the sun working me out. So I maxed out the RICE acronym last night. I got all the attributes, right? I got good rest. I iced with these Coleman packs, and I iced till, you know, my foot and that lower shin area was almost throbbing with pain. A lot of people think you shouldn't take it that far, but I will do everything I can to fight that inflammation. And then the compression was really interesting for me last night. So massage is kind of a form of compression, I think, and so it improves your circulation. And that's all I've been able to do the past few nights. When I was by the fire, I was massaging my plantar fascia and that whole area down there by my toes, and because all that, I think, is really where my problem originates, and it travels up through to my shin and manifests itself there. But it's all the pounding that your feet take, and sometimes you develop injuries. Even my one up in Maine, where I developed an inflammation in my thigh that kept me from going downhill. I couldn't go downhill at all. That's manifested from, I think, your feet, your plantar fascia normally. And anyway, so they had that roller bar. At the beginning of the night, I could barely touch the knot that had developed where that tendon is in your shin. And like 2 nights ago, I pulled down my sock and I was pretty surprised at the swelling and there's a pretty big knot like right on the front of my shin, and that's that tendon just completely tightening up into a knot. And you know, you can run into a lot of bad things. It could tear away from the muscle, you could get a stress fracture, you could break the bone if you push it far enough, I think. These are the things that I hear. And you can just make the whole situation worse. Like that tendon is becoming more and more inflamed and the muscles around it. But when I was doing that roller, man, I could barely, that area was so tender. I was just like laying it on it and barely rolling it across. I couldn't put any pressure. By the end of the night, I was putting a fair amount of pressure there and really rolling out, flattening out those fibers, those tissues. And that's what you need, because you need blood, fresh blood, to get in there and get rid of all the toxins and all the fluid that's in there that, and allow fresh oxygen and fluid get in there and repair all that tissue. And then I elevate it also. So when I don't have ice, I'm pretty good about massaging and elevating as much as I can my feet. Sometimes I just put them straight up in the air and try to hold them there for as long as I can stand it, so that some of the blood just drains out of my feet. So those are my tricks. There's nothing magical about it to keep myself moving. It's rice. And I didn't forget about it or anything like that. It's just that sometimes out here you have limited options. But I did not realize how bad it was getting until today. And I am cruising along today because I just feel so much better. And I had no idea how much I was slowing down. And it's another good reason why I'm doing 17 today. I'm gonna do the same whole routine tonight, even more, because I'm gonna have more time. And so I'll be well rested for tonight. The only thing is the weather is so good right now. You can see I stripped off my jacket, my sweater, or my outer layer, whatever that thing's called. And I'm down to just my little Tough Mudder t-shirt that I got a few weeks ago that I love now. And it's such a beautiful day. And I think it's getting up, it's not even up to, the high. It's gonna be 60. So I'll be hot in this probably, especially going uphill here. But I'm not taking my shirt off, don't worry. Okay, I'm supposed to get to some thank yous today, but I want to finish up this, the other attributes that contributed to my miraculous recovery last night. So I guess you could put this under the R for RICE acronym, rest, rest, ice, compression, elevation. These two things I was going to say are not in that, but I guess you could put it in rest. And the company that I kept last night was so good. There are other hikers that I hung out with and had really good conversations with. And the people that run the hostel are they're tops. They're good people. And they're making a few bucks running the hostel, but I'll tell you what, they're going above and beyond to help out hikers and make it a really good experience for them. But my point with all that is human interaction is so important to your health, and I have experienced it so firsthand out here. A lot of people don't believe this about me, but I am a huge introvert. I have loved my alone time out here. I've hiked with nobody practically. And not that I didn't want to, it's just my pace. But I haven't made those sacrifices to wait up on people. Splash, the guy, he's probably one of the few that could have hung with me. I really wish he did. I was having a great time with him. But anyways, I've enjoyed getting to know people and then moving on. But those interactions with people, those brief they have been so critical to my health out here, and they're critical to everybody's health. And just a smile, I can tell you, instantly improves your health. A smile from other people. And there is a point here. People should really, really think about this. A smile. All the other emotions are important also, and that's red across our faces. Fear, joy, uncertainty, you name it. All those things that we express in our faces are super important. And I've had the briefest interactions with people out here, and I walk away after just saying a few kind words to people, and especially the ones where you leave with smiles. I don't feel any pain for minutes, maybe an hour. I forget about the physical, distress I'm in, the mental fatigue that has happened to me for hours on end. It just evaporates for a short time period. So, I just think it's so apparent that smiles and all expressions on our faces are so important, and above all to children. I just think for the mental health of children, man, to deprive them of that social connection, it's scary. It's scary. I think there's huge deficits to, and whether you deprive people of that interaction or you deprive yourself of it through isolation, kind of like I've done, and you relish those moments when you do have it with people, or it's done through some other massive program, I'm telling you, it's detrimental to see fewer smiles and to see all the other emotions on people's faces. And then the last thing I want to say, and this hopefully will bring it up to a huge high note, is I watched 21 Jump Street last night, and I think the movie was made in like 2012. Very juvenile, very juvenile humor. And I just don't normally spend time on things like that, but I enjoyed it. It lifted me up, and it was hilarious. And you know, I kept telling myself, get up, go pack up your gear for tomorrow or whatever, but I just sat there and enjoyed the movie. And I think that's the other thing that contributed to how good I feel today. And those are two huge things, that human interaction and just a little treat of a you know, silly movie to lighten things up for me was really good for me. All right, I guess enough soapbox and rambling. And I'll get to the thank yous maybe this afternoon. I still have plenty to do. All right, everybody, I got Fru and Fireball here. And just like I talked about this morning, man, run into good people just makes your day. I will be on a cloud now for the next 5-10 minutes.
Oh, awesome.
Catch y'all later. Okay, I'm coming up on the top of Trey Mountain. It's really my last high peak for the day. I've crushed this hike today, man. I am pumped up and I have been flying. This is a cool little section right here, but I want to give a shout out to two very special kids. I'm gonna do it in 1 second. One of them just recently broke his arm. Stand by. Praise is coming. Let's see if I can get to the top of this. This little maze just keeps on going. Pretty. Hey, man. Hi. Trying to get you on here if you don't want to be. Okay, I just got sidetracked with that guy back there, and now I really am gonna be tight on my shuttle. I have another impossible time to meet, but like I was saying, I want to give a shout out to Brooks and Rutley. These guys, they are so awesome, and the reason I think about them all the time, especially out here, is because if you want to know two kids that can smell the end zone, man, those guys are hungry to score, and I love them. So Rut, I'm fired up today, and I got to haul my butt down this mountain, and I'm really gonna have to turn it on to meet my shuttle on time. They'll wait for me, so it's not that big a deal. And I don't know if it's because I can smell the real finish line, Springer, but I am just fired up today. I feel great. It could be the weather, it could be the people that I hung out with last night. Like I said, I think it's a combination of it all. I'm high today. I'm high as a kite, and I hope tomorrow I'm the same. The weather's gonna dampen things on Thursday and Friday probably, but I'm getting really excited. I can smell the finish line. Finally, I'm at the top of I think this is Rocky Bald or Rocky Knob. Really pretty. I don't have time to take pictures, but I'm doing it anyways. Rutley, I'm gonna make it. I'm about to tear down this mountain. So that's a Yona Mountain with a very distinct curvature to it over there. Pretty cool looking mountain. I'm still goofing off here and making it tougher to finish on time, but we'll see. It's gonna be tight. So my goal was 145 at Unicoi Gap, and it's 146. What I told the shuttle drivers I'd be here for too, but she said she'd be here at 145, so that's what I was going for. I barely missed it, but I went for it, and that's what counts. All right, I'm just gonna take a quick shot of the Around the Bend Hostel common area. This is one of the common areas. They actually have two, and I've had an amazing evening. Here's my layout. There's nothing wrong with my foot. My shin and my foot, I ice like crazy,
like I talked about today. And so I've got it elevated, fully iced. And I'm getting ready, there's the rollers and some other, there's a massage gun right down there to the right. Thing is awesome. I just use a roller, but here's the kitchen. Nice table over there. But ever since I got back today, I've been pampering myself. I got cleaned up and, here, I'll flip it on. Anyways, I got my snazzy shirt on, my loaner clothes, and I'm very comfortable. And I just wanted to wrap up this day. It's been a fantastic day, and these couple of guys, Alias and Beach Day, just caught up to me, and they're really good guys, and we're gonna have a few beers tonight, so that's gonna be nice. And I should be off and running pretty good in the morning for a 20-mile day, and everything's on track right now for Friday. Today, it was like I was a new animal, and I saw a new animal. The boar, the wild boar at the beginning of the day was really neat and kind of juiced me up right off the bat. But I had an incredible day today. This place is cool, and it's really pepped me up for the home stretch here. See you in the morning.